What are the key pieces for you to hit left of the line? You know, I harp on this because it's vital. You have to have a consistent low point to play decent, consistent golf. If your low point's random, then your striking is going to be random. If your low point's consistent, your striking is going to be consistent. At least then all we have to do is manage the face a little bit. If your low point's all over the place, then we really don't know what to manage. So I've got this line down here which makes it very vivid on where I want my club to land. Certainly not back here, and certainly not too far forward either. If I have a preference, my preference would be pro side thin versus amateur side thin. And amateur side thin is when the golf club bottoms out in the air back here, doesn't touch the ground, and the club's on the way up, and you get a thin shot. Pro side thin is when the club's still descending, catches too much ball in the divots too far left. I had a really good mini tour player out yesterday, and he suffered from a little bit too much pro side thin. So we did a lot of low point drills to get his low point closer to the golf ball, not so far forward. Anyway, the things you need to do to have an effective low point. One, you don't want to play the golf ball way up here. You want to get it left to center, somewhere, you know, inside the left heel. I play it pretty close to the left heel really for most shots. That's my preference. You know, some people play a little farther back, that's fine. I feel it imperative that all good strikers in the Hall of Fame are on their left foot at impact. They're not back here. It's pretty tough to have a solid strike that descends onto whitey if you are on your right foot. A lot of people are on their right foot because they've hit with an open face and they back out of the shot, so they try to fix their issue by swinging more left. That's probably the worst thing you can do. It might help you get around the golf course that day, but for your long-term improvement, not good. So what I want to see you do, we have to make sure you're on your left side at impact, okay? We can learn this by just simply putting our weight a little bit into our left side at impact and leaving it there until you can take your golf club and let it land left of that line. So key number one, our weight has to be left in order to have a successful low point left of our ball line. Number two, and very often misunderstood, the role of this right arm right here. And some of my tips in the past have talked about baseball. Well, if the pitcher throws a ball at me and I'm going to hit it, my right shoulder gets a lot closer to what I'm about to hit. Well, in golf, it's the same thing. My right shoulder starts at an elevation, and at impact, it gets considerably closer to what it's going to hit, the golf ball. Well, if my right shoulder is getting closer to the ball, then, and I'm not hitting it fat, then what's going on? Well, the reality of what's going on is that at impact, the length of my right arm is getting shorter. At impact, my right elbow is still a little bent. My right wrist is still a little bent. Therefore, my shoulder can get closer to what I'm hitting, but my right elbow is a little bit bent and my right wrist is bent. So I'll try to slow-mo this for you so you can see the difference in how the right arm behaves. Go ahead, David. Okay, that's one. Two. How were those, David? Okay?
The first one was okay. The second one, I lost a little bit.
Okay.
Oops.
Whoopsie.
Bad.
And the fourth one. All right, David, my turn.
Okay. Great shot.
Thanks. So what you're going to see there is quite a different pattern of where the golf club landed between David's shots and my shots. We're going to show you a little drill on how to improve where your golf club lands, because it's very, very vital. how do we get the golf club to land left of the golf ball, to take that divot that you see tour professionals and better ball strikers take? Generally, our hands are right in front of our body at address. And what we're going to do, rather than try to return our hands to this address hand location, we're going to learn how to return our hands to an impact hand location. And what I'm showing you here is that when I look down from my perspective through my hands, I see my hands somewhere over this wooden dowel I have on the ground between my feet. Now at impact, I'm trying to get my hands, if I were to take that dowel and run a line from my eyes through my hands, now my hands are clearly, from my visual perspective, well left of where my address hand location is. So it's a spot over here. In fact, I'll put a golf ball there, so you know where I see my hands at impact. If I could stop and look, well, if you stop this video, you'll see where, if you draw a line from my eyes through my hands, you'll see where I see my hands. I mean, it's very clear they're well left of where they are at address. So I'm going to hit a golf shot here, trying to get that nice forward landing club head. And in order to do that, I didn't try to return my hands to address. I tried to return my hands to this forward condition, which gives you a forward leaning shaft and a downward strike in the golf ball. And you'll notice you didn't see me try to lift my head, did I? Well, I have no reason to try to lift my head. The only reason I would lift my head is if I let my angles expand way too early and I'm going to run into the ground. Now my body's going to try to protect itself and lift up. My head doesn't lift up because it wants to. My head lifts up because my body lifts up. My body lifts up because I've lost my angles, because I don't have the correct aiming point, and I'm going to run the risk of driving into the ground, and it makes my body come up. So let's go in the bunker, and I'll show you a great drill on how to get a super aiming point, really have a fantastic dynamic impact condition that gives you a nice forward divot of the golf ball. Okay, fellas, let's give it a try. Nice and easy now. Okay, still behind the line, right?
Right.
Okay. Now, let's not aim at this line. Let's aim clear to the left and see how we do.
Okay.
Hey, so in your mind's eye, where were you aiming?
Up front.
Right. And what most people do is they try to take this golf club from this address location and return it to this address location. That results in landing behind the golf ball. It's always some kind of scooping motion that really instills this lift up, because you don't want to hurt yourself by hitting the ground by unhinging incorrectly. So what I want you to do is, when you draw your line in the sand, you don't have to hit these shots very hard. What's important is, like I talked a moment ago, of aiming point. Where do I want my hands to go? If I take my hands somewhere, the club head travels. Now, I don't want to over accelerate the club head, and I'm afraid that's what most of you do. So I want you to come in here and take a 7-iron or 8-iron and hit a soft little shot that's driven by pivot thrust, by rotation of the body. The body rotates, it helps transport the arms and transports the club. The key to distance is allowing this hinge to work properly and release at the right place. So let's try it. We're going to hit a little shot, really focusing on letting the club land left of the golf ball while it collects the ball and hits it up in the air. And that one wasn't that great. I landed a little bit behind the line, so that wasn't good for me. So that's why, even at the level I play at, you still make mistakes. That's why to be really, really precise, you have to do these kind of drills. Let's hit another one. And I'm going to focus on having a little bit farther aiming point this time. So I see my hands between my feet, but I know where I'm driving them. Okay, and that was a good one. That I collected the ball and then the sand. You can clearly see there's no divot to the right of this line, but there's a big divot to the left. Now, I promise you guys and gals, if you can change your low point to be left of the golf ball, you're going to play some great golf, and you're going to hit it farther than you ever thought you could.